Well, hey, y'all liked the last video so much that I wanted to do a little follow-up. So we will call it Hurricane Tips from a Category 5 Survivor Part 2. I would much rather y'all be over-prepared than under-prepared. And even if you don't find yourself in the cone of uncertainty this year, if you watch this video all the way through, well, to me, you're an honorary Floridian. Here's an important tip. Pray this thing falls on a weekday. If we have to endure a hurricane, the least we can get is a couple of days off of work. Call it a hurrication, if you will. One moment. Hello?
Megan, it's Senator Rick Scott. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Senator. How are you?
Well, it's hurricane season. We're hanging in here. Hey, I saw your hurricane video. Are you doing a part 2?
Well, sir, I am actually in the middle of filming one right now.
Great. Now, let me ask you a question. Are you going to talk about prescriptions? If you have a prescription, you're going to need to have, probably 7 days of prescription. You're going to talk about that?
Yes, sir. That is in my script.
And Megan, are you going to talk about gas? Right? We start hearing that there's a hurricane, everybody's going to go try to fill up their car. So there's going to be lines, or potentially you could run out of gas. So are you going to talk about gas?
You got it.
What about generators?
Yes, sir. I am going to tell them not to run their generators inside unless they do not like living on this planet. Next.
Are you talking about weather radios? You need to have one that operates on batteries. It needs to be charged up, and you need to have extra batteries.
And speaking of that, it is amazing to me how many people do not know where they live. Sir, can you hold just one moment? I got something to say. Hey, so sometimes hurricanes spawn tornadoes, okay? And that weather radio is going to be hovering out names of little towns and unincorporated communities that you didn't even know existed. Well, everybody needs to know where they are on the map, just in case one of those communities are mentioned and you got to hunker down quick. I'm back with you, sir. I'm
Megan,
sorry.
good point. There's a lot of great communities in Florida. I represent them all.
And we thank you for that. Hey, you know what else grinds my gears? One moment. I got another soapbox. The moment the last bands pass through the town, hurricane chasers are going to flood in with not a tooth in their head. And they're going to be carrying chainsaws and tarps, and they're going to want to charge an exorbitant amount of money for cleanup. And they're going to tell you that insurance covers it, but that you need to pay up front in cash. Well, they are not telling you the truth. Don't fall for that. There are a lot of people who get taken advantage of after a storm because they're vulnerable. So it's important for Floridians to know what their insurance covers. Okay.
Megan, how about pet safety tips?
Yes, sir. Where you are, your fur babies should also be. I've even got a little tip for folks to get a kiddie pool and fill it with some sod so that your pets have a familiar place to go, if you catch my drift. Because, if you take them outside, they're going to be sucked up and headed to the land of Oz right behind Toto. You know what I'm saying?
That's huge. They've got to have food and water. Now, what about cash? You're going to talk about the importance of having cash?
Yes, sir. It is on the list. Have as much cash as you can on hand for after the storm because, let's be real, there is no such thing as a cashless society after a natural disaster hits. Am I right?
Megan, that's right. Without power, your debit and credit cards are not going to work. What about the eye of the storm? You going to talk about the eye of the storm?
I will right now. So y'all, don't be tricked by the eye. So the eye is only the halfway point of the storm. Sometimes the sun even shines in the eye. It really is a bizarre situation. But listen, within seconds, the backside of the hurricane is going to sweep up behind you and you're going to be blown away quicker than what your guardian angel can fly. Okay, so it's just not really worth the risk to go stand and play outside in the eye.
Megan, how about anchoring things down so they don't become flying hazards?
Anchoring down. Well, sir, I was just going to tell them to throw them in a pool. That's where they're going to end up anyway.
That'll work. What about windows?
Windows, yes. You want your house to be sealed tight during a hurricane. Do not open your windows to let the air pass through. Opening your windows is how your roof gets blown off, and then it's just game over.
What they need to do with windows is board them up or get storm shutters.
Solid tip, sir. Oh, also, write down everything you love about everyone in your household, and you're going to reread this list as many times as you need to after you've been locked up in a powerless house with them for days on end.
Well, these are trying times for sure.
Also, get a big knife that you can strap to your leg. It's going to be useless during a hurricane, but it makes you look like you know what you're doing.
That might not be completely necessary.
That is not the energy that I'm looking for, Senator. So I have created an emergency kit checklist for your convenience. Screenshot this right now. Senator, do you have anything else you want to add while I got you?
Okay. Standing water, turn around, don't drown. Just a few inches of water can take you into the abyss.
That is right. And do you want to be trapped in a car filling up with gator-infested waters without any raw chicken handy to toss to them? I don't think so. Also, you should only worry if you see Jim Cantori. Also, when the Waffle House closes. A lot of y'all thought I was kidding. I am not.
Megan, I think that covers it.
All right, my fellow Floridians and honorary Floridians, keep calm. We got this.
So Megan, just remember, you can always rebuild that house. You can't rebuild life. Take care.
Hey, you too, Senator.